Mondays. I'm Chef Cherie, the chef and owner of Global Love Catering and Personal Chef. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for tuning in. Now, if you could do me a favor, use the hashtag Chef Cherie, hashtag Global Love Catering, hashtag Make It Happen. You also can follow me on Instagram at chef_Cherie and on LinkedIn at Cherie Hunter. And also here on Facebook. My website is www.globallovecatering.com. My email address, where I can also be reached, is globallovecatering@gmail.com. Today, we're talking meal prep. And we're not just talking meal prep in general. This is more meal prep for what's going on in the world right now. How to stay safe, but at the same time, providing healthy, nutritious meals for our families. Now, first thing you need to do when you're thinking meal prep, you're going to ask yourself, sorry about that. If you saw first, this is the second part to the meal prep episode. If you didn't get a chance to see part one, once we're done here, go back and take a look at that. It wasn't live. I recorded it earlier and posted it because what I have under here is flank steak that I have cooked. Now, like I said, if you saw part one, then you know what's in here. But just to give you a quick, just to quickly tell you what's in here, is we've got a 2.5 to 3 pound flank steak, 2 small to medium sized onions, just quartered, 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, and we also have some oregano in here. We've got cumin, we've got rosemary, we've got chipotle powder, cayenne pepper, some ground rosemary, peppercorns. So we've got our flank steak. Now for tonight's dinner, I'm going to take half of this and I'm just going to thinly slice it for dinner tonight. But what I'm also going to put with it is I'm going to make a brown gravy, and we're going to have it over rice with a side of corn. Now, for the brown gravy, we're going to use this cooking liquid from the flank steak. But we don't need any of the solids. The solids, the and the onions and the peppercorns, the oregano, everything is done and given up all its flavor and is now right here in this cooking liquid. So what we're going to do is we're going to strain it. Just a simple mesh strainer, which is going to catch all of the solids because we don't need them anymore. Now we're going to let that drain. And once that's drained, we just don't shake it, don't smash it, just let it slowly drain on its own. It'll only take a few minutes. You can give it a little shake, but don't press on your solids because the onions are very, very soft and you don't want them smashing and going into your broth. And what I'll do with that is I will make a roux, which is equal parts butter and flour. So if you use 3 tablespoons of butter, you need 3 tablespoons of flour. In a medium-high skillet, over medium-high heat in your skillet, and we're going to use the same skillet that we cooked the flank steak in. You're going to cook that, and you're going to cook it for maybe 2 to 3 minutes and still it until it starts to turn brown. At that point, you want to add your liquid and cook it until it starts to thicken, until it gets to the consistency that you would like it. And then it's done. Cook your pot of rice or a rice cooker, and then cook your corn on the side. Now, the second meal, remember this is meal prep. A lot of meal prep that I like to do at home is where I get a 2-for-1 deal. I cook once, but I get 2 meals, so that the second meal doesn't take me as long in the kitchen, or it's completely done altogether and we're just having leftovers. So, like I said, half this flank steak, I'm going to thinly slice it for dinner tonight. The other half, I'm going to shred, and we're going to do rolled tacos or taquitos. Now, for that, there's 2 ways you can do this. You could bake them in the oven, or you can fry them in a skillet in shallow grease. Now, the tortillas, it's up to you. I have here corn tortillas, so I'll be using corn tortillas tomorrow to make the taquitos. So you've got your roll, you got your shells. I prefer the smaller ones because it's a better ratio of meat to tortilla than the bigger ones. So, and all you want to do now, once this cools some, and I cut it in half, the way we cook this meat is going to easily shred up. It's shreddable. See how that came apart? But with 2 forks, you would just shred it. To where then you would take a little bit of the meat, put it in the center, put it to one side of the taco shell. Let me go ahead and show you with one. So you would take your tortilla, and we'll say this, about this much meat. See how it shreds real easy? Just using my hands. I'm not even using a fork. So about that much meat. You can go a little shyer if you want. And if you want to add cheese, this is the time to add a little bit of shredded cheese. And you just want to start from one side and roll it and roll it and roll it up. Now, I normally keep them sitting seam side, the open side down. And then when I go to put them in the oven, I put them on a lightly greased baking sheet, seam side down, and bake them because your filling is cooked. So you're just cooking it until your shell crisp up some. And then they're done. And that will take roughly, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes in a 350-degree oven. Or you want to cook them in a little grease until they're golden brown. If you do it in the grease, you're going to need to rotate. Once that bottom seals, that seam seals shut, and you want to rotate it until it's golden brown on all sides. That way, you've got 2 meals out of 1 main meat, which is the flank steak. So we're going to have the rice and gravy tonight, and the taquitos or the rolled tacos tomorrow with all the fixings inside, the lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream, cheese, however you want to have them. A little salsa, you can have it the way you would like. Now, let's talk a little more closely at meal prep. Meal prep, there are many definitions for it, many ways to look at it. Some people say meal prep is you prepping a whole week of meals in one day. Yes, this is true. You can do that. Or you prep for 2 to 3 days. Now, when I'm looking at meal prep, I need to ask myself 3 questions. The first question is, what does my family like? You have to think of the foods and the dishes that your family likes. The second question is, what will last? Last meaning, what is going to give me leftovers? The third question you want to ask is, what can I remix? What do I mean by remix? Say, chicken enchiladas. You know your family loves chicken enchiladas. My family loves all enchiladas. Chicken, beef, pork, it doesn't matter. They love enchiladas. So, okay, I want to do enchiladas. Wait, I just checked the cabinet. I don't have any tortillas to do enchiladas. Wait, I can make chicken enchilada soup. All the same ingredients, just in a liquid soup base. Winner. Now, then you want to ask yourself, once you've answered those 3 questions, now with answering those 3 questions, what does my family like? What can I remix? Then the next thing you want to do is, right there. Sorry, my daughter's got my information, some little notes for me. What you want to do is ask yourself, now what leftovers do I have that I can morph or make new? No, go back. Or what can I make new? Say you made chicken noodle soup. You've got leftover chicken noodle soup, but you know that nobody wants chicken noodle soup. What do? Chicken pot pie. All you need to do is make a thickening liquid. Something to thicken that soup up to chicken pot pie consistency. And then a pie crust, 2 pie crusts. Pie crusts always come 2 in a pack. So you've got your bottom shell and you've got your top. Put your bottom shell, put your chicken soup that you have turned into a pot pie soup mixture now into the pie pan or whatever vessel, oven safe vessel that you're going to use. Put the crust on top, put a few slits in the top for vent holes, put it in the oven. Now, nobody wants chicken soup, but you didn't let it go to waste. And with everything that's going on right now, that is one thing no one, even without all that's going on in the world, nobody has time for that. So I know I personally, for my household, I do cook Saturday through Thursday. Meaning, I don't cook on Fridays. The chef is off on Fridays. Friday in my house is Fend for Yourself Friday. What does that mean? Whatever leftovers in that refrigerator from me cooking for the past 6 days, y'all gonna eat something out that refrigerator. No, it's not enough for everybody to eat the same thing. I might have 2 kids eating red beans and rice. I might have 2 kids that are eating spaghetti and meat sauce. But either way, everyone has something to eat, something that they like, and they get full. 1, we're not wasting food. 2, my refrigerator gets cleaned out. 3, I don't have to cook. That's a win-win across the board if you ask anybody. Now, once you've asked those 3 questions and you've checked to see what leftovers you can morph, the next thing to do is to make your grocery list. Now, with everything that's going on, I normally make my grocery list before everything has happened. I only shopped main shopping once a month. Now, with not being able to buy as much groceries as I normally do, I've had to cut back, and we only shop now every week to 2 weeks. We mainly try to stay at the 2-week mark to where we're not having to go out and about all the time. Now, when you do this, you need to break your list down. And I have found, and my husband and I have found, that the easiest way for us to grocery shop is to, one, on our list, we have it electronically. We use our tablet, have our list, the stuff we're going to get from Walmart, the stuff we're going to get from Sam's. It's all typed up and on our tablet, to where once we get to the store, we get it, we just clear it off and delete what that item was. We have a list for Walmart, we have a list for Sam's Club, and we have a list for the commissary. Now, my list has gotten a lot tighter. I'm not doing all 3 of those stores, but what I am doing is, if it's Walmart, normally as things come up and empty out, we just write it on the list. But now, to make life easier and time easier and less stressful in the store, to where we can get in and get out as quickly as possible, we categorize everything. Now, you've asked yourself the questions, you've made your list, you want to do chicken, you're going to need chicken breast to do the chicken enchiladas or the enchilada soup. You know you're going to need ground meat because you want to do spaghetti, and you also want to do meatloaf. So all your meats go under meat, and then all your fresh veggies under veggies. When you do this, you know when you go into the store, if you go into the meat section, you have exactly all your meats in one area on your list that you know you're going to need. But leave room for changes. Don't make a list and say, this is the list, this is it, we're not veering. No. If you don't like it, you're going to eat it. Although I know that's how a lot of us was raised. If I cooked it and put it on your plate, and put it in front of you, you're going to eat it. But say you have a change. You decide, I don't feel like cooking chicken soup. Or we're coming into spring months and it's getting a bit hot to be eating chicken soup. Well, I know I want to do something with chicken. So I could do a chicken veggie pasta. Or I can do a chicken veggie rice bake. It's pretty much all the same ingredients with the exception of the pasta or the rice. So don't limit yourself and say, I've made this list, this is it. But also when making your list, you make your list, don't forget, because my husband and I have been known to do this, don't forget your staple items. You're making your meal prep list, what meals you're going to do, what variations that you can do with these same ingredients. Don't forget the milk and the eggs and the bread and the butter, because I have done that. And was ready to shoot myself in the foot. Because now, we done went out, we done came back, we done washed our hands, we done washed up, we good, and realized that we don't have no bread. And we were supposed to get bread, but we forgot the bread. So now it's either go back out and get bread, or we just ain't got no bread for the next 2 weeks. Or what I've been known to do is make my own bread. I know. Not everyone can do that, and not everyone is inclined to know how. But Google is a wonderful thing. I'm sorry. I've got my cameraman, aka my loving husband of 21 years, and my daughter, whom you all saw last week, trying to mouth and tell me things that I'm now stopped talking and I'm looking at them and they're like...
Live studio audience.
The love of my life. They're trying to tell me not to forget about YouTube as well. Google is wonderful. YouTube is wonderful. Even different... foodnetwork.com is good. Allrecipes.com is good. So don't forget, if you get stuck, you want to do something with chicken and you're not really on the same old chicken soup, or you're looking for something really fresh and different that's not going to cost you a whole lot or veer you too far out of your comfort zone, because I know a lot of home cooks don't like to veer out of their comfort zones too much. And you really should, because eating the same thing week after week or every other month can get a little stale, to say the least. So switch it up. Change things up. If you're not really into Mexican food, try it. Or certain Italian dishes. Or you know what? I got one better. Don't even worry about trying a whole new dish. Start with a new spice. A spice that you're not too familiar with, and look up recipes that use that particular spice. And then work it in and try it out. Start small. Don't commit to a whole, I've never made a lasagna, I'm going all in. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're not too comfortable with that, then try getting some ricotta cheese and getting wonton wrappers and maybe making a ravioli. But try something. We've all had time to talk and experiment with different things. We all have time on our side right now. Let's use that time to our advantage. To one, expand our spice cabinet. Two, you can take this as a prime opportunity to try new dishes, new vegetables with your kids. You never know. You might have thought they didn't. One of my aunts just posted on Facebook, I believe it was earlier today or yesterday, saying, who else loves Brussels sprouts? If you've never tried Brussels sprouts with your kids, give it a try. It might surprise you. They might actually like it. Now, next week we're doing things a bit different. Next week, we're not going to be in the kitchen. Oh no, not next week. Next week's episode of Make It Happen Mondays is going to take place outside. Not just outside the kitchen, but literally outdoors. And I'm looking very much forward to it. Now, next week we're going to be doing gardening and kid-friendly activities. I know a lot of you are like, the kids are home, they're not going back to school, they're home 24 hours, they're doing online schooling. Online schooling doesn't take all day. They have time in between classes and they're driving us up the wall. Trust me, I've got 4 of them and they're driving me up the wall just a bit. So finding different activities, kid-friendly activities, trust me, you will thank me. It will save you. I have a question? Yes.
Miss Rosalind asks, what are you cooking today?
Okay, Miss Rosalind. Today we cooked a flank steak. Now this is a 2-part. I did post a video of how this flank steak starts with the spices and the herbs and everything I use to cook it. So I've got the flank steak, and half of this I'm going to thinly slice for dinner tonight. The other half is going to be used to make rolled tacos or taquitos. Now, but for tonight, I'm going to slice half of it thinly sliced, and it's going to go over brown gravy and rice with corn on the side. Now, the cooking liquid that I cooked the flank steak in, we've reserved. We've actually strained it out, strained all the solids that we seasoned the flank steak with, and we've got our liquid here. Now, I'm going to make a simple roux, equal parts butter and flour. Get that roux brown, maybe about peanut butter color, about peanut butter color. And then I'm going to add this liquid in and let it reduce some until my gravy gets the consistency that I like. And then I'm going to make some white rice, possibly some brown rice. Like I said, mix it up. You don't have to do the exact same thing all the time. White rice, white rice, white rice. And brown rice is actually healthier for you. And I have some brown rice. So I think I'm going to do some brown rice instead to go with this dinner tonight. So it'll be brown gravy over brown rice with the thin slices of flank steak and some corn on the cob, because I have some leftover corn on the cob that was cooked up yesterday for Easter. So I've got extra corn on the cob. So instead of me cooking up and doing canned corn, I'm going to utilize my leftovers, and I'm going to do the corn on the cob on the side rather than a can of corn. Do we have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So remember, next week we're going to be gardening and we're going to be talking all things kid-friendly activities. Remember to follow me on social media. On Instagram is chef_Cherie. LinkedIn is Cherie Hunter. And also right here on Facebook, where we all are now. Remember, any more questions or comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments and use the hashtag Global Love Catering, hashtag Chef Cherie, hashtag Make It Happen Mondays. And I'm here every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.